Let's throw some jabs.
The fight starts now!
All right, Sergio, let's look ahead to this weekend's fight between Vergil Ortiz and Michael McKinson. Vergil Ortiz is a big favorite against the undefeated McKinson. No surprise there, but he is coming off a year-long layoff. Sergio, do you agree with the odds makers on this one?
Yes, I agree that Ortiz should be a big favorite, but I'm curious if he's going to get the knockout in this fight. You mentioned inactivity. You mentioned that he's coming off of sickness. I think this fight goes into the later rounds, maybe even a decision. McKinson's that good, that tricky, that cagey. This fight does go into the second half, Mannix.
Yeah, I can see it going into the second half, and I can see it having parallels to a previous Ortiz opponent, that being Brad Solomon, who had some of the same characteristics that Michael McKinson does. But Vergil Ortiz, Sergio, is just so relentless. And whenever I see a non-puncher go up against a puncher, my first question is, what can the non-puncher do to stop that kind of relentless assault? And for Michael McKinson to win, or even take this fight the distance, he is going to have to be in phenomenal shape. And he's going to have to hit Vergil Ortiz with something to keep him from just barreling in and throwing and landing combinations. That's why I think this fight does end in a knockout. It's probably going to take 6, 7, 8 rounds because McKinson is slippery, but I think Ortiz ultimately gets the stoppage on this one. All right, so Ortiz gets a win in this fight. Does that mean in your mind that he's ready for a world title shot?
You know, he's ready for a world title shot because, you know, he's already faced world champions and championship opposition, title challengers, contenders, southpaws, tough guys. He's faced them all. So yes, Ortiz is ready. Now, can he win a world title? That's another story. I mean, the welterweight division is loaded with killers. Is he going to beat Errol Spence Jr.? I don't think so. Terrence Crawford? I don't think so. Go down the line, it's going to be tough. But is he ready? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think he's ready. He has checked the requisite boxes to get to this point. He knocked out Maurice Hooker, the former champion, at 140 pounds. He knocked out Aegis Kavalauskas, the former title challenger, at 147, who gave Terrence Crawford a very good fight a few years ago. So the next logical step is for a world championship shot. Now, the one he's in line for is Crawford's WBO belt. Ortiz is the #1 contender for that belt. And if Crawford and Errol Spence can't be made, that's a fight I think I could see happening either later this year or early next year. And I would favor Crawford in that fight as well, but I think Ortiz is ready for it. And I think Ortiz would present Crawford, who is starting to age a little bit and has been touched up a little bit in recent fights. I think it would give Crawford a bit of a challenge in that one, because Crawford is going to have to deal with the power of a full-fledged 147-pound puncher like Vergil Ortiz.
Power and size. Size is going to be maybe more important here. Just think of what Kavalauskas was able to have some kind of success with Crawford. Times that times 2 or 3 when it comes to Ortiz. Momentum, size, the power, the youth, the hunger, and the fact that, you know, ignorance is bliss, Mannix. Vergil Ortiz Jr. thinks he can win, thinks he could beat the #1 fighter on the planet, and sometimes that's enough. The confidence, the ability, the power, dynamite could happen. So yeah, man, I mean, I give this kid a chance at any of these champions.
All right, before we go, Sergio, the best fight on the card may be Blair Cobbs against Maurice Hooker, 147 pounds. The odds are very close in this fight. Who do you like to win?
Man, I'm telling you, this is going to be a great fight because both fighters are coming off a knockout loss. It's make or break for both these guys, but I'm going to favor Hooker slightly. I just like his longer reach, the power punches that he throws, the body shots that he lands. I think he's able to pin down Cobbs and maybe even stop him late. I like Hooker on this one.
Yeah, I love this fight because it really is win or go home for both these guys. Both these guys are on the other side of 30. Both have had, in Hooker's case, world title opportunities. In Cobbs' case, chances to elevate himself into that world title class. So the winner takes a step forward. The loser probably done as far as competing at the highest level. And I'm with you. I like Hooker ever so slightly too, because Hooker has faced better competition than Blair Cobbs. His 2 losses came at championship or close to championship level. He was stopped by Jose Ramirez. He was stopped by Vergil Ortiz. These are 2 talented guys and big punchers at their weight class. And Cobbs, he was just stopped by Alexis Rocha, but before then, he has shown some signs of a suspect chin in previous fights against lesser competition. I think both these guys can certainly score knockouts, but I think Maurice Hooker has the better chance to land that big punch and stop Blair Cobbs to get this win.